Hello, this is The Bittersweet Life. I'm Katie Sewell. Every month over at patreon.com/The Bittersweet Life podcast, our monthly supporters get to listen to bonus episodes of this show. Here is a preview of the most recent episode.
You know what I was thinking about, Katie?
Yeah.
With all this, next year, when Aurelio starts school, he's going to be the exact age that you and I were when we met.
That's true. That's funny.
That was weird to me because I felt so grown up when we met.
Oh,
I felt so grown up like in junior high. I mean, we were doing plays together. We were, we had a certain amount of personal freedom.
Yeah, we had a lot of autonomy for the most part, I feel.
We'd go places together, nowhere too terribly far away, but we'd walk around the neighborhood or, go like, I don't know if we were going to coffee shops, but I feel like we were going places, like
Yeah.
maybe the supermarket or something.
Well,
like,
we were. Yeah, for sure.
And I just feel like, oh my gosh, Aurelio's tiny though. Like he's a little boy.
Yeah, well, remember there used to be that restaurant that we'd go to after we did a theater thing called the Jade House. And we would just go, and it was like a Chinese food restaurant, and we'd just go and like order random things like a side of rice. And like, I mean, we were kids, like how much money did we have? And of course, we think of ourselves as this sophisticated group of actors. But to the owner, he's like, oh, here's that big group of kids again, ordering rice, and eating as many fortune cookies as possible and drinking tea endlessly. But I remember him being always really, really nice to us, like kind of treated us like we were adults. But yeah, sometimes I think about it from like the outside perspective, and I think, wow, we must have looked like a big, huge group of tiny people and keyed up, surely, because kids Aurelio's age are like loud sometimes and they make the worst jokes, I mean, he doesn't have a phone, right? So do you think he has as much autonomy as you did? I guess he's a fifth grader now, so he probably doesn't have that much yet, but it's coming, right? So
No, yeah, he definitely doesn't. I think that's a product of our times, these times that kids are, overprotected. And even we, compared to our parents, were much more protected. I felt coddled, maybe not coddled, but definitely sheltered. I felt very sheltered. And I think Aurelio is more sheltered than I was. Because at the end of the day, I grew up in the 90s, 80s and 90s, and I got my license at 16.
yeah.
I had no phone. Nobody had a phone. I was out with my girlfriends, and my mom had to just, this is curfew, be home by this time, and hopefully I would,
Yep,
I would come in.
Yep. Yesterday, while my parents were taking a nap, Sarah and I just decided to go out for a drive, and we were on Mercer Island, which is not a very large island, but it is the island that Tiffany and I did all this theater and went to the Jade House on. And I said, well, should we just circumnavigate the island? And neither one of us had done that for a really long time, so we drove the entire perimeter of the island. So, of course, we drove past where you used to catch the bus on part of our drive. And so I'm like, that's where Tiffany is, right there. So, yeah, it was pretty lovely.
It was a lovely place to grow up.
Tiffany grew up on she didn't grow up right on it, but on an extremely windy road. We're talking like there's all these ravines and it just winds in and out these cliffs
Constantly.
and ravines.
It never stops.
Yeah, it's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's the bus route that we used to have to take. It's so windy. I mean, if you were a kid today, I feel like you couldn't even look at your phone on that ride because it's so windy. You'd end up like so sick to your stomach if you were looking down trying to read the whole time.
Oh, speaking of phones, before we get off, just another little tidbit about Italian school that I think our listeners might find interesting. When the kids arrive at school, their phones are put into a locked armoire.
Oh,
and
an armoire.
The nun,
Wow.
well, I mean, what do you call it?
I
An
don't know.
armadio? Like a cabinet. Okay, there you go. A cabinet. A locked
No, it's more
cabinet.
exciting as an armoire, for sure. Okay.
Yeah, because that's what you call it in Italian. There's not a different word for cabinet and armoire. It's like the same word. So a locked cabinet, and they take the key away, and you don't get your phone until you leave school for the day.
That's
I thought
nice.
that was, yeah, super interesting. Super
Yeah.
interesting.
I've heard that they do that here occasionally, but it's usually just into a big plastic bin that the teacher like sticks under their desk or something like that. So not as
Okay.
classy as an armoire for sure.
If you want to hear more, support the show. For $5 a month or more, you can keep this show in operation and give yourself the gift of added listening. Patreon.com/The Bittersweet Life Podcast. There's a link in the show notes. Thank you so much, and talk soon.